Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Hari Om, Jai Gurudev. So we were looking at Panchikarana, and I hope that we had seen yesterday the Tattva Bodha. What was the last discussion? Are we going to continue with the Atma Bodha only? Can someone guide me? Or we will...
We finished, Jai Gurudev, we finished, I think, 11th shloka.
Yeah, no, but for the... No, I think we finished even the 12th one.
Yeah, the Tattva Bodha we had to revise, like what all.
So what you want me to start with Tattva Bodha? Where did we, because yesterday I could not, Brahmaraji had told, no, Tattva Bodha we have to start now.
I think some introductory, like people were having some confusion regarding the casual body and all the sharira, the
Sthula, Sukshma and Karana Sharira.
All the koshas, the Panch koshas and that.
So kindly guide me whether we should continue, because Tattva Bodha, I will share the screen and just let me know where it was. Yeah, I will.
Dr. Brahmara has joined? Dr. Brahmara has joined?
No, I think she had joined, but she made me host and she left, I believe.
Achha, okay. You can revise the 5 sheets if like I went to like from the Tattva Bodha.
I will just open the Tattva Bodha file first. I will close this one. Just a minute.
Yeah, you open it and you can see the headings and a small sentences we can revise. I read through this the Panch koshas and the sheets yesterday, the waking state and.
Hey Bella, is it so? Are you doing Atma Bodha only, right?
Yeah,
that's what I did not know yesterday. I had.
Yes, you only said to review that yourself with Tattva Bodha to clear their doubts.
We will continue with the Atma Bodha file only, right?
The text to everyone, I think, but maybe we should.
People must have revised. If they have revised, then we can continue with Atma Bodha. You can.
I mean, if you sidetrack it now, we don't know where to start and Tattva Bodha at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
thank you, Dr. Mara. So we will continue with the Atma Bodha, where we had, I think last time we had stopped on the shloka 13th, right?
Yes, but I just wanted to know, I mean, if they have any doubts, then you can go back and review that page. But
I will just try to read once again the each stage for Panchikarana. And then, because it is very, very important, this whole verse. 11, 12, 13 verses are very important. I will just
Okay.
go through
This is in
the...
Atma Bodh, right?
Yes, yes, dear. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
good.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So, Shloka 12, I will just read the first shloka because I have to go through the... Actually, this whole Atma Bodh is so much in line with our chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. So, every verse is important. It is so much... प्रातः स्मरामि हृदि संस्फुरदात्मतत्त्वम् सच्चित्सुखं परमहंस गतिं तुरीयम् यत् स्वप्नजागरसुषुप्तमवेति नित्यम् तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं न च भूतसङ्ग तपोभीक्षीणपापाणां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते. I am composing the Atma Bodha, this treatise of the knowledge of the self for those who have purified themselves by austerities and are peaceful in heart and calm, who are free from cravings and are desirous of liberation. बोधोऽन्यसाधनेभ्यो हि साक्षान्मोक्षैकसाधनम् पाकस्य वह्निवज्ञानम् विना मोक्षो न सिद्ध्यति. Just as the fire is the direct cause for cooking, so without knowledge, no emancipation can be had. Compared with all other forms of discipline, knowledge of the self is the one direct means for liberation. Avirodhitaya karma na vidyam vinivartayet vidya vidyam nihantyeva tejastimirasangavat. Action cannot destroy ignorance, for it is not in conflict with or opposed to ignorance. Knowledge does verily destroy ignorance as light destroys deep darkness. Parichinna jnanat tannashe sati kevalah swayam prakashate hyatma Meghapayenshumaniva. The soul appears to be finite because of ignorance. When ignorance is destroyed, the self, which does not admit of any multiplicity, truly reveals itself by itself, like the sun when the clouds pass away. Ajnana-kalusham jeevam ज्ञानाभ्यासाद् विनिर्मलं कृत्वा ज्ञानं स्वयं नश्येत् जलं कटकरेणुवत्. Constant practice of knowledge purifies the self, Jivatman, stained by ignorance, and then disappears itself as the powder of the Kataka nut settles down after it has cleansed the muddy water. Samsara swapna tulyo hi gadveshankulah vakale satyavadbhati prabodhe satya sadbhavet. The world which is full of attachments, aversions, etc. is like a dream. It appears to be real as long as it continues, but appears to be unreal when one is awake. That is, when true wisdom dawns. तावत् सत्यं जगद्भाति शुक्तिकारजतं यथा यावन्न ज्ञायते ब्रह्म सर्वाधिष्ठानमद्वयम्. The Jagat appears to be true, Satyam, so long as Brahman, the substratum, the basis of all this creation, is not realized. It is like the illusion of silver in the mud puddle. Upadane khiladhare jaganti parameshware sargasthiti layanyanti udbudani vavarini. Like bubbles in the water, the worlds rise, exist, and dissolve in the Supreme Self, which is the material cause and the prop of everything. Satchidatmanyasnusyute nitye Vishnau prakalpitaha vyaktayo vividhat sarva hatake katakadivat. All the manifested world of things and beings are projected by imagination upon the substratum, which is the eternal, all-pervading Vishnu, whose nature is existence, intelligence, just as the different ornaments are all made out of the same gold. यथाकाशो ऋषिकेशो नानोपाधिगतो विभुः तद्भेदाद्भिन्नवद्भाति तन्नाशे केवलो भवेत्. The all-pervading Akasha appears to be diverse on account of its association with various conditionings, upadhis, which are different from each other. Space becomes one on the destruction of these limiting adjuncts. So also the omnipresent truth appears to be diverse on account of its association with the various upadhis and becomes one on the destruction of these upadhis. नानोपाधिवशादेव जातिवर्णाश्रमादयः आत्मन्यारोपितास्तो ये रसवर्णादिभेदवत्. Because of its association with different conditionings, upadhis, such ideas as caste, color, and position are superimposed upon the Atman as flavor, color, etc. are superimposed on water. Panchīkrita-mahabhūtah sambhavam karma sanchitam shariram sukha dukkhanam bhogayatanam uchyate. Determined for each individual by his own past actions and made up of the 5 elements that have gone through the process of a 5-fold self-division and mutual combination. Panchikarna are born, the gross body, the medium through which pleasure and pain are experienced, the tent of experiences. Okay, so we had completed the 13th shloka also. I think we will start with the 13th. Pancha prana mano buddhihi dashendriya samanvitam apanchikrita bhutotham sukshmangam bhoga sadhanam. The 5 pranas, the 10 organs, and the manas and the buddhi formed from the rudimentary elements, that is tanmatras, before their 5-fold division and mutual combination with one another, panchikarana. And this is the subtle body, the instruments of experience of the individual. In the lower wombs of the plant and the animal, and the higher beings of the human and the celestial, there are vast differences. But behind all these wonderful differences, to any discriminative intellect capable of seeing things in their correct and true perspective, there is one pulsating force that plays the song of life through all these various equipments. If there be such a oneness of existence everywhere, why is there a series of different experiences within myself? And why then again the various grades of life outside? Vedanta has not only theoretically dealt with this question, but a practical approach has been made to this problem. A very convincing answer indeed is given to this deep doubt. In this stanza, the term prana is to be correctly understood. Prana, the footnote, it is not the mechanical breathing in and out. So it is that subtle force or life force. In this stanza, the term prana is to be correctly understood. It is the manifestation of life in our body. And the 5 pranas are the 5 departments of life's activities or categories of prana functioning departmentally in 5 ways. They are: first, prana is that life force which controls and regulates the various activities in our sense organs. It is because of this dynamic energy that life is evident in sense perceptions. Apana is the excretory system in a healthy body, the capacity to reject the necessary and unwanted poisonous things from the body. Vyana expresses life functions in the digestive system, which makes the food ready for absorption by the body. Samana distributes the digested food with equity and justice, as the very word indicates, according to the need of the moment to each part. More food goes to our hands if we are cutting wood or breaking stones, and more for the legs if we are running or walking. The 5th is Udana, is the capacity to rise up and peep into fresh fields of knowledge by which the existing wrong notions are removed by the newly acquired convictions and experiences. The capacity in us to evolve or devolve in our thoughts. So yesterday, as Brahmaraji had explained, there is some interchanging of the meaning, but basically there are 5 types of, you can say that prana, which are functioning in our body, and so scientifically it has been described by Swamiji. My internet is unstable. If my voice is breaking, kindly let me know if I have to read once again. I'm just browsing through these all things Brahmaraji had yesterday taken care. So I'm just quickly browsing through the text. Kindly stop me if you want me to reread anything, because my voice must be breaking.
You're
It's
fine,
not
Bella,
breaking.
so far now. Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah, there is a notification is coming. I wish it is not breaking, then it is fine. Okay. So the 5
Jai
types of
Gurudev.
prana. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a small doubt about the 5 pranas and 5 vayus. They are the same. Like we also say there are 5 vayus, no? Apana vayu and Udana vayu and Samana vayu and all that.
Yeah,
The
that
5
same. They
vayus.
are the same. Same. Yeah.
Same. Okay.
Okay. So as the one central government holds its sway over the whole country from its seat in New Delhi, so too the one self is the life that has its sway over the whole body, and it functions from the heart cave. The government of the body is conducted through the different pranas that are referred to above. Any government will have its various ministers. One life alone expresses itself in its 5 different moods, and each performs a different function in this physical body, as each minister is in charge of a given department, and all of them are expressions of the one government in power. Prana controls the perceptions at the different sense organs. The spots on the physical body at which sense perceptions seem to function are not in themselves the sense organs. For instance, the 2 eyes are only instruments, golayas, through which the power of vision beams forth, and the exact power of vision is in essence located in the mind-intellect equipment. If the mind does not come in contact with the sense organs, then no perception is possible. A man in deep thoughts or sleep does not see and recognize the person standing by his side, because his mind has not gone out through the eyes to see the object before him. The footnote is there. In Vedanta, the theory of perception is that consciousness riding over the mind flows through the sense organs and reaches the object, ghata desha, and takes the shape of the object. Then we have the knowledge, vritti jnanam. This is the object, ayam ghataha. This is very, very important. Please pay attention.
Yeah, you finished that about the 5 pranas, right? Where what is you said something was reversed in that. In Tattva Bodh, it says apana is the evacuation and rejection of all waste.
Yes. Yesterday, Brahmaraji had told there is some interchange of the meaning, but we have to just remember the 5. 5 pranas. There is the about the description.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you what that was. Like apana is the evacuation and rejection of all waste from the body, and is taken care of by apana. Were it not for its efficient functioning, toxic chemicals and waste would gather in the body. If it weren't on for apana, all these things can gather in the body for the apana. Viyana is that the circulation of the blood and nourishment to every cell of the body is the work of Viyana. So that's the what that was. And Udana is the same thing.
And samana is the digestive vayu or power of.
Yeah, the food eaten is digested and assimilated by samana.
Yeah.
The samana is the one just digestion of the food, but it is distributed by the Viyana. The apana is the one throws out everything, all the waste.
So
okay.
Scientifically.
And what exactly is the definition for prana? Because the 5th prana is just prana.
The prana is considered as a life force. That's what it says here.
Yeah, understood that. But what is the description of that prana? Like we know udana is upward, apana is downward, vyana is circulation, samana is digestion. So what is the exact function of prana beyond it being the life force? So which means it is there in every cell.
Manifestation.
It is also for a breathing, right? It's also considered as a breathing.
It's and
the inhalation.
The 5 senses.
The prana and breathing is governed by prana.
I think it provides the energy for the 5 senses to function. Seeing.
I think Chinmaya, it is a little bit different than the Tattva Bodh. If you read Tattva Bodh, it clearly says the prana is like a breathing. But it's also another way of saying like a life force, which is
it nourishes the 5 senses.
I
like
this applies better, I think, no, because prana is the energy,
yeah,
the
it
life force
provides the
energy. Yeah, it provides the energy for the.
eyes, nose, ears,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
tongue, and skin to get
Mm,
the senses, how the sensual organs function under the
mm,
effect of prana. Means
mm,
prana here twice it is used in general as the breathing in and out, that prana, and
mm.
out of these five also, five pranas, this is known as, there also one prana word is used, which is for the nourishment of the five senses or functioning of
Yeah,
the five senses.
yeah. In our happiness program, we say, no, four sources of energy, which is the prana, which comes from breathing, from food, from a meditative mind, and from good sleep.
Correct.
So that is the energy, prana. Okay. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because that word prana is used in two ways, no? So we get confused.
So we have to remember that prana is that which controls all our apparatus, all the sense apparatus. Otherwise, they are just the instruments. This subtle body, constituted of the five pranas, the 10 sense organs, the mind and the intellect, the instrument with which we experience pain and pleasure, is made out of the five great elements called the rudimentary elements, tanmatras, before they had gone through the process of their fivefold subdivision and mutual combination, panchikarana. While the physical body explained in the last stanza is an establishment serving as the hall of experience, the subtle body formed out of the rudimentary elements, tanmatras, is that by which or through which the enjoyment of the objects in the outer world is rendered possible. The subtle body is constituted of the instruments of experience. अनाद्य विद्या निर्वाच्य कारणोपाधिरुच्यते उपाधित्रितया धन्यम् आत्मानमवधारयेत्. Anadi, beginningless, avidya, ignorance, anirvachya, indescribable, karanopadhihi, causal body, uchyate is said, upadhi tritayadanyam, other than the three conditioning bodies, atmanam, the atman, avadharayet, should understand. Anadi, avidya, anirvachya, karanopadihi, uchyate, upadhi tritayadanyam, atmanam avadharayet. Avidya, which is indescribable and beginningless, is the causal body. Know for certain that the Atman is other than these three conditioning bodies, upadhis. Please pay attention. I read once again. Avidya, which is indescribable and beginningless, is the causal body. Know for certain that the Atman is other than these three conditioning bodies, upadhis. In all cases of delusory superimpositions, such as a ghost vision in a post, the cause for the illusion is in the accidental non-apprehension of the real. The misapprehensions start. Where truth is not known, avidya, when the reality of a thing is veiled, avarna, from us, we cannot but misinterpret the reality through our own misdirected imaginations, vikshepa, which form the delusory projections, adhyasa. When the intellect is clouded with ignorance, the mind dances in agitation, painting for itself an exhaustive picture of dark despair. So beautiful. Please remember these all words for our Manana. Avidya, Avarna, Vikshepa. If you want me to read anything, please let me know. When the spirit is not known due to the veiling layers of ignorance, avidya, the misapprehensions of the spirit as the various matter envelopments start. Identifying with these layers, the delusory sense of individuality arises, and this ego suffers the pains and agonies of existence, samsara. The mere non-apprehension in case, I think it is in case only, in case it is not creating any misapprehension is a condition of relative joy. The footnote is the joyless joy state of sleep is an example in us when we are in pure avidya, in sheer non-apprehension of neither the self nor the non-self. I will just read once again. When the spirit is not known due to the veiling layers of ignorance, avidya, the misapprehensions of the spirit as the various matter envelopments start. Identifying with these layers, the delusory sense of individuality arises, and this ego suffers the pains and agonies of existence, samsara. The mere non-apprehension, in case it is not creating any misapprehensions, is a condition of relative joy. This avidya is the causal body in as much as it is this ignorance of an eternal spiritual perfection that has given us our gurgling desires in the intellect, thoughts in the mind, and actions through the body. The subtle body and gross body are the products of avidya, and therefore it is called the causal body. Beginningless anadi. This is a description of this mysterious avidya, which the students of Vedanta in their early days of study find it very difficult to accept and assimilate. Clear light is thrown into this concept by the modern revelations in science. Time, according to modern scientists, is the interval between events. And in our textbooks of philosophical thoughts, a more vivid definition is given, which perhaps has a closer personal appeal. Time is the interval between experiences. To have an experience, three factors are necessary: the experiencer, subject, the experienced, object, and the right relationship established and maintained between the subject and the object called the experiencing. Thus, the mind-intellect instrument, the experiencer, must have a world of objects, the experienced, to establish the condition of experiencing, to have the first experience. Yeah, there is very beautiful way the Swamiji has described. I will repeat once again so that the subject-object relationship becomes very clear. Time, according to modern scientists, is the interval between events, and in our textbooks of philosophical thoughts, a more vivid definition is given, which perhaps has a closer personal appeal. Time is the interval between experiences. To have an experience, three factors are necessary: the experiencer, that is the subject, the experienced, that is the object, and the right relationship established and maintained between the subject and the object, called the experiencing. Thus, the mind, intellect, instrument, the experiencer, must have the world of objects, the experienced, to establish the condition of experiencing, to have the first experience. At a single point A, there is no distance to measure from point A to any point B. There is a distance. When the first experience ends, which is at the rise of a different experience, then alone can the concept of the first unit of time appear in our comprehension. Even for the very first experience, where time is impossible, we need the equipments of the intellect, mind, and body with a world of objects to perceive on, to feel for, and to think upon. Thus, even before time was perceived, the created world has come out, and to perceive it, the equipments of knowledge also must have been created. Avidya is the causal body for the subtle and gross envelopments, and therefore it cannot be qualified or measured by time, which is its own byproducts. My grandson complains, Grandpapa, why did you not take me to the marriage of my granny? Avidya is before time, anadi, timeless. This is so much in
Can
line
you
with
just
our
read
chapter
one
6.
line about this part? The time was perceived.
Yeah, you mean this, the paragraph before this one, right? At a single point, A, there is no distance to measure from point A to any point B. There is a distance. When the first experience ends, which is at the rise of a different experience, then alone can the concept of the first unit of time appear in our comprehension. Even for the very first experience, where time is impossible, we need the equipments of the intellect, mind, and body with a world of objects to perceive on, to feel for, and to think upon. Thus, even before time was perceived, the created world has come out, and to perceive it, the equipments of knowledge also must have been created. Avidya is the causal body for the subtle and gross envelopments, and therefore it cannot be qualified or measured by time, which is its own byproducts. My grandson complains, Grandpapa, why did you not take me to the marriage of my granny? Avidya is before time, anadi, timeless. So in chapter 6, Bhagwan has already said this, that whatever is time bound is all mithya. I hope I can go ahead, or you want me to repeat something? Please let me know. I think as we read further, it becomes very clear.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, this avidya is again qualified here by Shankara as indescribable, a thing that exists and which can be an object of our perception or feeling or thought alone, can be framed in expressions and explained or described. But avidya, which is the cause for the instruments of perception, feeling, and thought, cannot be brought fully within our experience, and hence the difficulty to explain it. Again, if a thing exists, it can be explained. A non-existent thing also can be explained. Avidya can neither be said as existent nor as non-existent or both, and therefore it is inexplicable. So beautifully it is explained. Lastly, in Vedanta, the theme of discussion is Vidya and not Avidya. The seeker has come to the teacher seeking knowledge, and not seeking to realize ignorance. Therefore, the Shastra says that the seekers need not try to understand and experience ignorance. It is impossible. With a torch, however fast we may run, we will never be able to see darkness. Night flies before the vivid rays of the morn. Keeping a burning gaslight on his head, one fool once walked the whole night through, trying to place that light at some place where there is darkness. Failed. So it is like, as Swamiji has previously explained, like bucket of darkness. If you keep on, you cannot say that you are able to remove the bucket of darkness. It requires just a torch of light. The moment the torch of light is there, the whole ignorance is disappeared. I hope, do you want to read anything once again? Please let me know. The more we try to understand or know ignorance, the more it moves off until we reach the true knowledge. पंचकोशादियोगेन तत्तन्मय इव स्थितः शुद्धात्मा नीलवस्त्रादिः योगेन स्फटिको यथा पंचकोशादियोगेन, I think it is yogena. Panchakoshadiyogena, by identification with the 5 sheaths, tat, that, tanmayah, identical with that, eva, like, sthitah, appears, shuddhatma, the pure self, neela vastradiyogena, by association with blue garments, sphatikah, crystal, yatha, just as, Panchakoshadiyogena tata tanmayah eva sthitah shuddhatma neelavastradi-yogena sphatikah yatha. In its identification with the 5 sheaths, the immaculate Atman appears to have borrowed their qualities upon itself, as in the case of a crystal which appears to gather unto itself color of its vicinity, blue cloth, etc. I read once again the meaning. In its identification with the 5 sheaths, the immaculate Atman appears to have borrowed their qualities upon itself, as in the case of a crystal which appears to gather unto itself color of its vicinity, blue cloth, etc. It is like, I think there was an explanation, when you keep a blue cloth behind the plain crystal, you will assume it as a blue crystal. Here we are given an answer as to how the perfect, the immaculate self happens to be contaminated by the impure and the imperfect. The self is ever pure and is the same everywhere and is never contaminated by the finite objects in creation, nor by the different layers of matter, which are the products of our non-apprehension of the truth. We wrongly seem to imagine, however, that this unchanging supreme, because of its association with the imperfect objects, conditioned by various limitations, gathers to itself the sting of the 5 sheaths. 5 sheaths, the footnote. The personality in man is conveniently analyzed into 5 layers on the basis of their distinct functions, and these are called as the Panchakoshas, the 5 sheaths. They are Annamaya Kosha, food sheath, Pranamaya Kosha, vital air sheath, Manomaya Kosha, mental sheath, Vijnanamaya Kosha, intellectual sheath, and Anandamaya Kosha, bliss sheath. when life is expressed through the mind and the sense organs. The venom of the superimposed serpent cannot poison the rope, its substratum. The blood on the lips of the ghost can never leave any stain upon the innocent ghost. So they are just the superimposition. A clear glass tumbler seems to take up the color of the tablecloth on which it happens to stand. Similarly, because of the seeming identification and association of the pure self with the five sheaths as it expresses itself in and through them, we mistakenly identify the five sheaths as our own true nature. The five sheaths are A, the gross physical structure, the anatomical, Annamaya. B, the vital air sheath, the physiological, Pranamaya. C, the mental sheath, the psychological, Manomaya. D, the intellectual sheath, Vijnanamaya. And E, the bliss sheath, Anandamaya. वस्तु वस्तुषादिभिः कोशैः युक्तं युक्त्यावधा ततः आत्मानमन्तरं शुद्धं विविच्यात्तण्डुलं यथा Vapuhu, the form, Tushadibihi, with husk, etc. Koshaihi, with sheets, Yuktam, covered, Yuktya, by logical thinking, Avaghatataha, by threshing rice in a mortar, Atmanam, the self, Antaram, within, Shuddham, pure, Vivicyat, should separate, Tandulam, rice, Yatha, just as. Vapuhu tushadibihi koshaihi yuktam yuktya avaghatataha atmanam antaram shuddham vivicyat tandulam yatha. Through discriminative self-analysis and logical thinking, one should separate the pure self within from the sheets as one separates the rice from the husk, bran, etc. that are covering it. I read once again. Through discriminative self-analysis and logical thinking, one should separate the pure self within from the sheets as one separates the rice from the husk, bran, etc. that are covering it. How then are we to visualize the glory and greatness of this supreme truth that is all pervading the self in us? How to separate spirit from matter and realize the pure spirit? Just as rice is obtained by removing the husk, bran, etc. from the paddy, so too by the discriminating faculty in us which distinguishes the real from the unreal, removing of the various impurities superimposed by us upon the self, and getting beneath the sheets of the dark spiritual ignorance, avidya, which dims the light of the real self, we must realize it singularly alone in its pure and uncontaminated state. So beautiful. Thus, by the art of negation of the physical and mental equipments in us, and also by the removal of the dusty dirt that has been let in to rest on that immortal, the glory of the total existence in the manifold creation, the Atman is to be realized as the pure consciousness. When an earnest seeker subjectively experiences this truth, he becomes detached from the various sheaths, which are his personality layers. He realizes that the soul is different from those layers, and in the constant process of detachment From them, he attains the infinite knowledge and the absolute bliss. He rediscovers his spiritual status as the eternal self. This is a very, very beautiful paragraph. I'll just read once again. Thus, by the art of negation of the physical and mental equipments in us, and also by the removal of the dusty dirt that has been let into rest on that immortal, the glory of the total existence in the manifold creation, the Atman is to be realized as the pure consciousness. When an earnest seeker subjectively experiences this truth, he becomes detached from the various sheaths which are his personality layers. He realizes that the soul is different from those layers, and in the consistent process of detachment from them, he attains the infinite knowledge and the absolute bliss. He rediscovers his spiritual status as the eternal self. Please remember this when we will try to recollect the chapter 6th. Sada sarvagatoPyatma na sarvatravabhasate buddha vevavabhaseta swacheshu pratibimbavat. Sada, always, sarvagatah, all pervading, api, although, atma, the self, na, not, sarvatra, everywhere, avabhasate, shines, buddho, in the intellect, eva, only, avabhaset, manifest, swacheshu, in transparent surface, pratibimbavat, just as the reflection. Sada sarvagatah api atma na sarvatra avabhasate buddho eva avabhaseta swacheshu pratibimbavat. The Atman does not shine in everything, although he is all pervading. He is manifest only in the inner equipment, the intellect, buddhi, just as the reflection in a clean mirror. I repeat once again, the Atman does not shine in everything, although he is all pervading. He is manifest only in the inner equipment, the intellect, buddhi, just as the reflection in a clean mirror. Remember this word, it is only the eye reflection. The Atman being infinite is by its very nature all-pervading, although it is available in the cognition of all objects in the pure intellect, buddhi alone, can we come to realize the self, Atma Tattva, in all its essential splendor. Just as in a clear, polished mirror alone are we able to see our reflections distinctly. Although, according to the principles of reflection, our faces are reflected everywhere on all objects. There is a footnote. According to physics, light falling on the object gets reflected, and these reflected light rays again get reflected at the reflecting surface. And when they fall on our retina, we see the reflection. This process goes on even on a granite rough wall surface, but we don't see our reflection there. So it is beautifully explained by Swamiji, the scientific aspect of reflection. I will read once again. The Atman being infinite is by its very nature all-pervading. Although it is available in the cognition of all objects, in the pure intellect, buddhi alone, can we come to realize the self, Atma Tattva, in all its essential splendor. Just as in a clear, polished mirror alone are we able to see our reflections distinctly. Although, according to the principles of reflection, our faces are reflected everywhere on all objects. So whether it is transparent or not transparent, they are reflected. But we are able to see only when there is a clean mirror. There only we can see our reflections. Let us again take the example of our own government. It functions from New Delhi. But it sounds odd if we really mean that the government is in New Delhi alone and not in the other parts of India. The government may have its headquarters up in the north, but even in a little home away in the south, the overall hold and grace of the government falls equally. On every inch of the country, it has its sway. Its laws are applicable throughout the length and breadth of the land. Yet, to meet the government, one must go to New Delhi. So too, although the Lord, the Supreme Brahman, who is the substratum for all this plurality, is within us as well as without us, it is only in the subtle intellect, buddhi, purified and steadied, that it is to be clearly seen, fully reflected. The body is gross, the mind is agitated over one thing or another, and hence it is in the subtle intellect that one can learn by practice to be calm and steady. In that serene quietude of a settled and pure mind, the effulgent self is recognized, just as we can see quite easily and clearly our own image only in a clean mirror held steady. I will repeat this paragraph once again. Please pay attention. The body is gross. The mind is agitated over one thing or another, and hence it is in the subtle intellect that one can learn by practice to be calm and steady. In that serene quietude of a settled and pure mind, the effulgent self is recognized, just as we can see quite easily and clearly our own image only in a clean mirror held steady. It is very, very important. Please remember this as we all practice meditation. We have to remember this. Only if our antakarana is shuddha, without raga dvesha, then only we can realize that supreme self. If you want me to read anything, please let me know, or we can. Each verse is so much pregnant with knowledge. So I think we must remember every verse. I will just read once again. I think we started from 13th.
Yes, 13 shloka.
It's
Yeah,
8 o'clock, right? You want to do the Manana now? Or?
yeah. So we can stop for Manana. Yeah, you are right. We can stop for Manana. We will close our eyes for a few seconds and then we can contribute our whatever takeaways we have. Jai Gurudev. So kindly start your takeaways. This is very, very important text, what we have done today, because it is so much in line with our day-to-day practices also.
Didi, I have, can you please explain causal body with respect to ignorance, the avidya? I didn't understand that part.
The causal body with avidya. I think that was in 15th, right?
Jai Gurudev. It is like during the deep sleep when you are you don't identify with your body and mind. You are in that state. At that time, you are in the influence of that causal body. You don't have that duality, which is created by the gross and the subtle bodies. So you are like nirvikalpa. You have no identifications. So at that time, you are in that causal body and you feel that bliss. And the ignorance is that because you don't identify with the body and the mind, you are in a state of ignorance. The time doesn't, you cannot differentiate the time aspect also.
So
Avidya
nice.
is ignorance.
And also the causal body, very beautifully explained, Savitaji. The causal body is the reason for the Sthula and Sukshma Shariras. It is a product. It is Anirvacha. If you remember the shloka for the definition of causal body, it is Anirvacha, inexplicable. No one can describe it. Avidya Rupam, and it is born of ignorance. It is actually ignorance. So Anirvacha Avidya Nirvikalpaka Rupam. Can we have that shloka, Mila?
Anadi, right? Like there's like
Anadi, it is beginning. Yeah, it is even before time. In fact, time is its product. Time is its byproduct. So in that, in the explanation, Swamiji very beautifully gives, the more you try to understand ignorance, the more it goes away from you. It is like having a light on your head and you're trying to search for darkness. So it is pointless in trying to understand what this ignorance is.
Yeah.
Understand that it is there. The more, and it is because of ignorance that we have the whole manifest jagat, or the superimpositions, the upadhis that we have are all because of ignorance. So our seeking is towards knowledge and not so much as trying to understand what ignorance is. That is one. And it is actually, yesterday I think Sureshji was mentioning something about Gurudev saying causal body is the same for everyone, right? I think
Yes.
maybe
Yes.
context was different. Maybe we'll have to look into that context. But actually, everyone's causal body is nothing but the sum total of the vasanas, the samskaras that we have accrued through the different janmas. So everybody's causal body is of course different, which is the reason why, and that is the reason why your Sthula Sukshma Shariras are formed. Isn't it? So at that level, the causal body is not the same for everyone. That it is formed from avidya, that is the sameness.
Yeah.
That is the sameness, but everybody, your causal body is different from my causal body. My vasanas are different. Isn't it? So,
Yes.
I'm not sure whether in the beginning today, Bela, I was not there for the first half hour. Were we able to discuss a little bit of Tattva Bodh or not possible?
No, we did a little bit of the prana thing, just to go back and but not we didn't go back to the Tattva Bodh. Just
Tattva
started with the Atma Bodh, because I wasn't sure where to start it.
No. If any one of you wants to share any of your takeaways from whatever has been learned today in the few shlokas that we read today, please go ahead. Otherwise, I thought I would. I went through the Tattva Bodh yesterday, and I thought because we got a little stuck at the where is the Karana Sharira? Where is it coming from? We were trying to link it to the Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas, right? So I thought maybe if everyone is sharing, I will
Yeah, Brahmaraji, kindly, because it is very important to remove all the doubts and confusions at this stage. And since it is a very, very important topic, it is so much connected with every chapter, and especially the Dhyana Yoga.
So the if you go back to Tattva Bodh, the Brahmashraya Maya, when you go back to the creation of the universe, so in the beginning there was only just Brahman. From there, Maya, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Gunatmika, Maya happens, which has all the three qualities in it: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Now from Maya come all the Panchamahabhutas. First space appears, then air, then fire, then water, then earth, in that order. And then from the sattvic aspects of all the different Panchamahabhutas, the different sense organs appear. Like the space, from space, the ears, the sense of hearing happens. From the fire, it is eye, the sense of sight. Then from air, it is the sense of touch.
Yes, right? That the one.
Jnanendriyas, Jnanendriya. And then from from water, the sense of smell happens. And from earth, the sense of from water, the sense of taste, and from earth, the sense of smell happens. This is from the sattvic aspects of the Panchamahabhutas. Now, in the Samishti Sattvikamshat, from the sum total of all the sattvic aspects of the Panchamahabhutas, the Antakarana takes shape, which is the Mano, Buddhi, Chitta, Antakaranan. So from the sattvic aspects, you have individual sattvic aspects, you have the individual sense organs. And then from the Samishti Sattvikamshat, sum total of the Sattvikamshat of all the 5 elements, the Antakarana is formed. Now coming to the Rajasic aspects of these, from the individual Rajasic aspects of space, fire, air, fire, water, and earth, you have the 5 different organs of action that emanate. And then from the sum total of all the Rajas aspects of all the 5 elements, you have the Pancha Pranas. Now, the Sthula Sharira and Sukshma Sharira, when we come to that, the Sthula Sharira is formed from the Tamas aspects, from the Tamas aspects of all the 5 elements, from that Panchikarana. And we've seen from the Tanmatras are the Tamas aspects of the individual elements in their original form. That becomes 2. And then from that 2, the first half remains the same. The second half further divides into 4. And then there is a process of Panchikarana, where the 1/2 of space, for instance, gets, it amalgamates with 1/8 part of air, fire, water, and earth. And that forms the gross space element as we've seen, as we see it. Similarly, the gross air element, fire element, earth, and water, they make their appearance. So the gross world as we see is nothing but the manifestation of the tamas aspect of the Panchamahabhutas after Panchikarana. Similarly, the Sthula Sharira is formed from Panchikarana of these 5 gross elements in their tamas aspect. Whereas the Sthula Sharira, the Sukshma Sharira, and the Sthula Sharira is the counter of all experiences. It is that it is because of the Sthula Sharira that we can actually experience all the
What is it you said? I'm sorry. Sushma Sarira?
So I didn't come to the Sukshma. That is the Sthula Sharira. Now the Sukshma Sharira is formed from, it includes the 5 sense organs, the 5 organs of action, and the Antakarana. Pranas, 5 pranas and the Antakarana. So in total, it has 5 plus 5, 10 plus 5, 15. And Swamiji has given 2, manas and intellect. But if you include also the Antakarana, comes 19.
Yeah, memory and ego. If you
Memory
add
and ego is also included, becomes 19. If you remove them, it becomes 17. So the Sukshma Sharira is the instrument with which the Sthula Sharira is the instrument, whereas the Sukshma Sharira is through which we can actually experience the outside world. Just having the sense organs, those little spots on our gross body, is not what makes us see, smell, touch, taste, and have the sense of smell. It is the power behind them, which is there in the manas, in the intellect, in the manas and the intellect, in the antakarana, that we're actually able to see. Now coming to Karana Sharira. So Karana
Which is
Sharira,
the Panchapranas, right? The power is the Panchapranas.
the pranas are again, they are the manifestation of life in different departments. Pranas by themselves do not cause, it is the antakarana which actually is the sense, the seat of perception. Pranas, if without the prana, there is no life at all. The difference between a dead body and a live body is because of the presence of prana in it. So that prana is expressed, the subtle life force is expressed in 5 different departments as prana, apana, dhyana, samana, and udana.
This Brahmaraji.
Yes,
this
yes.
Sukshma Sharira is Rajasic guna, no? Of the
Sukshma Sharira, not all of it.
Both
The
Sattvic and
pranas
Rajasic.
and the pranas and the organs of action are the Rajasic aspects. Whereas the Sukshma Sharira, if you remember, it includes the sense organs, organs of action, Chitta Antakarana, the Antakarana and the pranas. So it is a combination of both the Sattvic as well as Rajasic aspects of the Panchamahabhutas.
But the gross body is of Tamasic.
Tamasic. Gross body is only tamas.
Tamasic, and this I felt Rajasic.
The combination of both, Rajasic as well as Sattvic. Isn't it? Because from the Sattvic aspects, you have the sense organs, and the sum total of Sattvic aspects, you have the Antakarana. So that is the Sattvic aspect. Rajasic aspect is the organs of action, pranas. Right? And then you have the causal body, which is the Karana Sharira. This you cannot really pinpoint and say, is it from the Sattvic or Rajasic, Tamasic aspects? It is Anadi, Avidya Rupam. Anirvachya, you cannot even describe it. It is inexplicable. It is all, again, from from Maya. So the more we try to explain the causal body, it cannot be. It is but it is because of the causal body that we have the Sukshma and the Stula Shariras.
So we can say it's the blueprint of both the gross and subtle bodies.
Correct. Is the causal body.
Mainly because of the vasanas.
Mainly from the vasanas, the karma, avidya. So I remember we had this question, how did the first karma begin? All this we went through all of this when we had Nana's Manana happening, the Swadhyaya happening then. But then it is pointless in trying to figure out when did that first thing happen, because it is inexplicable. It is that it is there, that there is darkness, we understand. So we are not trying to figure out how darkness happens. We are only wanting to remove the darkness with the torch of light, with jnana. Not sure.
Though it is beginningless, it has an end.
Of course, has an end. Yeah.
The minute knowledge, you shine knowledge on it, that ignorance disappears. So though it is anadi, it has an end.
Correct. Very right.
So the end comes when the physical body is no more at the time of death.
No, that is only the death of the physical body, Stula Sharira, but the ignorance can still remain.
Yeah,
death
it
comes,
remains in the Karna Sharira, which goes with this Atma. So that is why we need to do this cleaning and polishing.
So then we can say
steady and
the astral body and casual body remain together. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Body.
Correct.
What is the question? What is the question? I'm sorry.
I said the subtle body and the casual body remain together, and they leave only when the physical body is no more at the time of death. Just clarifying this doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, both go.
Yes, but it carries the impressions. The karmic impressions it carries. And that is the causal body for the next, what we say, the blueprint for the next body.
Yeah.
And it will disappear only when we clean and polish. So we have to become pure and be steady, both. So polishing is that becoming steady. Cleaning is first, and then polishing, which is getting steady there.
Very beautiful.
So I also read Tattva Bodha yesterday, and I realized it's a long, long process.
It's important. So this actually very nicely merges with now the shlokas. Bela, are you okay to do the 13th, 14th shloka?
Thank you, Brahmaraji. So nicely explained.
Yes,
actually, I was not there.
Thank you, Brahmaraji. So beautiful.
I was not there in the Atma Bodha lectures.
In the
I don't know when Nanaji took no, because what was happening that time, it becomes there 10 to 9:30 in
but
US.
They're all there. All the videos are there in the YouTube.
I will took it because
you can look at them. There are about 7 or 8 videos only. Okay. You can please go through that. Very beautiful basic knowledge.
No, I'm listening it. Wonderfully explained, Brahmaraji.
Yeah.
That was very nice. Very mind-boggling.
Thank you, Brahmaraji. It was really making it very crystal clear.
No, it is thanks to your question, Suma. If you remember yesterday, that brought us into this little confusion. So we said, no, we have to have clarity and not confusion.
My husband says this, that wherever you want to create confusion, send Suma.
Send Suma. No, but from confusion and chaos comes clarity, no?
No,
which
no,
is what
she
the
also
whole
has a
purpose
very
of
nice
Manana is.
questions. Very nice questions she asks. Very wonderful. Good. Wonderful.
So
Brahmanaji, again, I will be going to US on 28th.
oh, very
There
good.
again, 10 to 11:30 it becomes. I will be sleepy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I will attend. I will attend. Somehow I will adjust it. Somehow I
Right.
will go. Okay.
I had this,
What?
I just want to share a small thing. I had this question with me last night that though we have all this knowledge theoretically and as a concept, it is quite difficult. At least I felt it's quite difficult for me to work on myself like this. So that's when, after my Kriya this morning, that knowledge came that the self is working with the self, by the self, for the self. So that kind of gave me such a relief that I don't have to sit and do everything.
Yeah.
At some point of time, it will happen.
Yeah. What we need, what we're doing now is just the act of polishing the mirror, keeping it steady, polishing it. That is the polish that we have to do. That's all.
The reflection happens
polished,
automatically.
yeah, once it's enough polished,
Purify first purify and polish, that both should go together and continuous.
It's like pounding the rice, separating that all the sheet and getting the grain like that, removing all the sheets, and then you see that. One more thing, Dr. Chandra, like that vital air sheet, I think. I don't know. Suma asked this question about that 5 pranas you asked. It's also the part of that one of those sheath, the vital air sheath,
that is the
which
pranamaya. That is the koshas. No, we're looking at the
kosha.
koshas.
It has both, the pranas and the action, organs of action. They combine both in the vital air sheath. I mean, she wanted to know that pranavayu and apanavayu is also same as prana, apana, vyana, like that. So I just wanted to know that that's in Tamil. Are you talking about? Or this is part of the sheath as well, as a physiological function?
Pranamaya kosha is the sheath of prana, no? And this is my understanding, that prana comes from breathing one. And in our happiness program, we learned that it comes from food, water, good company, meditative mind, and good sleep. So we get that pranamaya kosha is there with us all the time through, and this is how we receive it. That is my understanding. I had the confusion of whether these 5 pranas and 5 vayus were the same, because they have the same name. Apana vayu, udana vayu, same prana, udana prana. We say the 5 pranas.
I think they're interchangeable. I think the terms are interchangeable.
Only when you use prana, there is chaitanya. When you use vayu, there is no chaitanya in it.
How can that be? Without chaitanya, there is no vayu also.
They can be used interchangeably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's more like when you use it as a physiological function, like as a circulation, as a digestion, as part of it, it becomes that sheath, the prana sheath. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll take this up tomorrow, maybe. The Panchakoshas we can discuss a little more tomorrow. I think we'll go on to Shloka 13, 14. Yeah, go ahead, Bela, if you're ready. You have to unmute yourself, Bela.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev. I had already explained, but I will just repeat since we are doing, you explained so well the Tattva Bodha and even in the Atma bodha, your explanation, Brahmaraji, is really super duper. It makes the thing so clear, like the kesari, what we eat. Okay.
Crystal clear. Crystal clear.
Yes.
And her voice also is so crystal, really.
Yes.
Directly hit into the brain.
Yes, because it's a result of her sadhana that her voice is directly reaching to our antakarana.
I think it's all Kitaya's grace, and also because we've been in this knowledge for so long, unless everybody has that sense of cleanliness within, knowledge will not seep in, isn't it? So I think it is again to do with collective consciousness. Yeah, go ahead, Bella.
Yeah. I will, again, there is a time limit, Brahmaraji. I don't know whether I'll be able to finish, or else we can, I will just, okay, I'll try as much as I can. Okay.
Yeah, I know. We're getting stuck with time. I think we have to pray to Kala. We have to really pray, all of us, that we maintain and we are spot on with time. Like 6 o'clock, we stop for Manana. 6:15, we stop for Bhagavad Gita. Let's do this tomorrow, okay?
Yeah.
It is containing the infinity, madam.
Yeah, I know.
Because
But we'll
knowledge
do it.
is such a thing. It just
Brahmaraji,
expands. It just
Brahmaraji,
expands.
Brahmaraji, I know that we are talking about so many means all abstract things, so it keeps on going because infinity has no time limit. But still, you are beautifully putting that cap. So please continue. That keeps. Otherwise, we just keep on going and ongoing. It is you can sit with this for whole day. Enjoy it.
Exactly. That is not a problem. But then to bring in that sense of discipline and respect for time, I think it is important for us to pay attention to it. That's all.
You keep that thing and we honor it very much.
Yeah.
We honor it very much.
Yes. So what
And
my suggestion is,
rest of the time you let us we will do our own personal manana. But for the collective manana, let us have it exactly 7:30 to 9 India time.
Right. Right.
Brahmaraji, what I am suggesting, it is already we are reaching time. So can I just read the shloka, and tomorrow as soon as we finish Atma bodh, because since it's exactly in line with what the shlokas we are doing in the Atma bodh.
Correct.
So I will finish with that explanation tomorrow. Can we do that?
We'll do that. And then we can break for Manana. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Today also I thought like that, but anyway.
That's fine. That's a good suggestion.
Shiro grivam dharayanna chalam sthiraha samprekshanasikagram svam dishaschanavalokayan prashantatma vigatabhihi brahmachari vrate sthitah manah sanyamya machitto yukta asita matparah. So as it is said in the beginning of the chapter only, please try to remember that it is about the gaining of mastery over our own self. It is Atma Sanyam Yoga. So it is so much in line with whatever we have been doing so far from the first loka of Atma Bodh till we have reached the Panchikaran and all those. So we here again, as Bhagwan has again tried to give us several means through which we can attain that self, supreme self. So please try to remember the words like Vigata Bihi, Prashantatma. Then the first shloka, 13th shloka, talks more about the Bahiranga sadhana, how we should sit, how our asana should be. And the 14th shloka is more about our Antaranga sadhana. I think we will see in detail tomorrow as we respect the time. And although it is mithya, we have to respect it.
Correct.
Hari Om.
Completely agree with you. Again, more than Bahiranga sadhana, it is It is the physical body, how to keep the body stationed. Bahiranga sadhana is actually karma yoga, and antaranga sadhana is dhyana yoga, and how the internal mind should be. That is the second aspect in Shloka 14. Very beautifully described, Bela. So we'll wind up here today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Jai Gurudev.
Jai
It's
Gurudev.
nice.
Dhanyavad Brahmaraji for
Thank you
that
so
wow
much.
feeling.
Yeah.
It's really wow.
Jai Gurudev.
Thank you.